Well, it's been some time since we got an update about Spider-Man 4, but today we have a report about the working title for Spider-Man 4 being revealed, which could also reveal some very interesting plot details about what to expect as far as the story is concerned with Spider-Man 4. Now, we'll dive into the new working title and what it could reveal about the plot, but first, let's talk about Null and Venom in Spider-Man 4 because that is what we had previously heard with all of the reports and rumors from the insiders. Now, some insiders have kind of backtracked and said, this is not what I'm hearing anymore, but the report today about the working title is coming from Alex Perez over at the Cosmic Circus, and Alex Perez has also stated, and he stated this after Venom 3 The Last Dance came out, that he has still heard, that he is still currently hearing, that that is the plan still for Spider-Man 4. Null and Venom. Now, obviously take this with a grain of salt because there are conflicting reports, but he essentially, I don't want to say doubled down, but he did come out and say that he hasn't heard anything different yet. That doesn't mean that that can't happen. And I definitely think that they did kind of set it up a little bit for Tom Hardy's Venom to actually go over to the MCU at the end of the film there. At the very end, we found Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock in New York. So if an incursion were to happen, or if something would happen in any way, shape, or form that would bring Eddie to the MCU and he doesn't travel through space, he simply travels through the multiverse, he would still be there in New York, which is where our Spider-Man is, Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And they showed us that Venom is still alive, so I think it's all there for it to happen if they wanted to do it. And let's dive into the report. Here is a really big part from the report from the Cosmic Circus where Alex Perez states, however, we do want to report that our sources confirmed that once again, the events of the next Spider-Man film will take place after Avengers Doomsday, meaning it will not be a prequel to the events of the upcoming Avengers film. And let me clarify what he is stating here. Yes, we do know that the release date for Spider-Man 4 is coming after Avengers Doomsday. We know that that's not actually what he's stating here. What he is stating is that in the timeline of inside the MCU, as far as that is concerned, this film, the events of Spider-Man 4, will take place after Doomsday. So it's not like we're going to have Avengers Doomsday, then go into Spider-Man 4, but the story will take place before Avengers Doomsday. That's not how that's going to work. It won't be a prequel film to Doomsday. It's going to take place in the MCU, in the timeline, after the events of Doomsday. So there's a difference there because that was kind of a topic that was talked about, not necessarily a report, but a lot of people were thinking, well, even though it takes place after Doomsday, the events can take place before. That is not what sources have told the Cosmic Circus. So that means what happens in Doomsday, meaning Peter Parker seeing Dr. Doom and possibly seeing his face, realizing that he looks exactly like Tony Stark. That is a big possibility. And I mean, if they don't do that, it's just going to be a complete waste of bringing Robert Downey Jr. back. I mean, I love that he's coming back. I think it's a cool idea to bring him back as Doom, but if you're not going to address the fact that he looks exactly like Tony Stark, then I mean, what are we doing here? Just the biggest missed opportunity ever. But story points like that from Doomsday are going to carry over into Spider-Man 4 and could weigh on Peter Parker a lot, especially emotionally, which is what they talk about in this article. So the working title for Spider-Man 4 is called Blue Oasis. The article reads, the next Spider-Man film's working title is Blue Oasis. Our sources confirm that the next Spider-Man film will be filmed under the working title Blue Oasis, with a production company of Blaze Films, Inc. And Alex continues to give a little insight on what that could mean, stating, Blue Oasis is the name of a color that is said to be a soft, mid-toned blue. To the naked eye, this might seem like a fundamental name or color, but to some avid comic Spider-Man fans, this shade of blue bears a strong resemblance to the blue utilized in a very popular and universally beloved comic run known as Spider-Man Blue. And if you know this comic run, if you know this story, you might be getting a little bit excited right now about Spider-Gwen, Gwen Stacy. This story is set on Valentine's Day and presents a Spider-Man who feels blue or depressed as he sits atop the Brooklyn Bridge. The story retells how Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy first met and fell in love in a beautifully told story that melts melts even the coldest of hearts. Now, I'm not going to go over the entire article because I encourage you all to go click on it yourself, but there are a few things to think about here. One is the possibility that they could finally introduce Gwen Stacy in the MCU. That is something that I am just super excited about. Spider-Gwen is one of my all-time favorite characters, and Kevin Feige just recently mentioned that Miles Morales is going to make his way over to the MCU as well. And he specifically said that Miles Morales is going to appear in Beyond the Spider-Verse, and after that, he hopes shortly after that, literally that's what he said, shortly after that, he can appear in live action form in the MCU. If this is true, and after Tom Holland's Spider-Man has had his final run, perhaps in Spider-Man 6, and he leaves and Miles Morales becomes the new Spider-Man, if that's all going to happen, perhaps Spider-Gwen can come in as well. Because even if Gwen Stacy comes in right now and becomes sort of a love interest for Peter Parker, I still think they end Tom Holland's Spider-Man run with him getting to be with MJ. It would kind of work right now, Gwen Stacy coming in, because Zendaya's MJ doesn't know who Peter Parker is. That's of course thanks to the spell that Doctor Strange did at the end of No Way Home. Nobody knows who Peter Parker is. They still remember who Spider-Man is. So keep that in mind. That's important because the Avengers still know who Spider-Man is. They just don't know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. But since MJ doesn't know who Peter Parker is, and if Peter is going to go to college, which is a rumor that we've heard and something that I think a lot of fans would like to see, then it would make sense that he would try to move on at least and meet somebody new, because that was kind of the whole thing at the end there. He was going to tell MJ who he was, but he decided not to because he decided to let her live her life and not put her in danger, in jeopardy, in harm's way. And that could be what the title means. Spider-Man is feeling blue because of everything that's happened in Spider-Man No Way Home, plus the events of Avengers Doomsday. So he could be feeling blue about not being able to be with MJ, not being able to talk to his best friend Ned, not being able to talk to Happy because he doesn't know who he is. Of course, Aunt May sadly died, and Tony Stark, his mentor and father figure, has been gone for a while. That's a lot to be blue about. Plus, the events of Avengers Doomsday will most likely show a Doctor Doom, a evil person who looks exactly like his beloved hero and father figure and mentor, Tony Stark. And he most likely fought him in Avengers Doomsday. We're assuming they're going to fight Doom, which was probably incredibly hard to do. And then on top of that all, we know Doom is the main villain of Secret Wars, so they probably lose to Doom in Avengers Doomsday. That is a lot to be blue about, for sure. But Gwen Stacy could be making her way to the MCU because she doesn't have to be Spider-Gwen yet. She could simply be a student with Peter and a love interest, and that would certainly make things really interesting, especially if all of a sudden, for some reason, the spell that Doctor Strange did was negated. Imagine if Peter Parker starts dating Gwen Stacy, then all of a sudden the spell is over, MJ remembers him and remembers everything, wants to go back to him, but he's in a relationship with Gwen. That will certainly be some drama. Now, Spider-Man Blue is kind of sad. Basically, the story is about Peter Parker kind of going through all of his memories, going down memory lane on Valentine's Day as he recalls his relationship that he had with Gwen Stacy before she died. And you basically see all the events that led to them being together. And he's with Mary Jane at the time, and it's revealed that he misses Gwen, but Mary Jane doesn't get mad or sad, but she kind of just feels deeply sorrowful for Peter. So it kind of hits you right in the feels. It's a really great story. I don't think we're going to get anything like that in Spider-Man 4. I don't think we get Gwen and then she dies and then Peter goes back to MJ. But one could hope for an introduction of Gwen Stacy into the MCU. But Spider-Man Blue, him feeling blue, he certainly does have a lot to feel blue about. Let's see if Avengers Doomsday has anything to add to that feeling, and I'm sure it will with Robert Downey Jr. returning as Doctor Doom. So go ahead, let me know what you think about this working title in the comments down below. I'll also link the article to thecosmiccircus.com in the pinned comment. Be sure to check them out. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest MCU news, leaks, and rumors. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.